Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Again, welcome to Second Touch Sunday edition. We're here again to have a conversation with you, Doc and I. Though, let me start off by saying, all of you mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. And if you're coming on, please join us. Please help share the show. Again, welcome to Second Thought. And then we will have the conversation, Doc.
Hello, everyone. Happy Mother's Day to you, my sister, Cindy Martin Quay. And I want to take this time to also say happy blessed Mother's Day to everyone who take out their precious time. You working, you've been a mother, carrying the load of, this
Everyone,
the, the stress of home. And so
yes.
I just want to just tell you thank you for everything that you do. You are a special kind of person, and happy Mother's Day to you. I want to also tell you that I had a wonderful Mother's Day too, and if you know me, I've been blessed with two mothers. I want to say a happy Mother's Day to Nancy Melville as well. But I lost my biological mother about 8 years ago, and I was sitting down this week thinking about her, and as I would say to people, I missed her special needs. She birthed me and she would call me special, but she had a little like a name of endearment. I would like to say for me, like she would be like Spash Spash, Toos Toos. She had these funny little names that she would just make for me. And as old, I mean, I'm talking, I'm 30, 40, in my late 40s when she died, but um it's just like she just had these, and I mean, Mom, I'm too old for that. She said, "Well, I don't care how old you are, you still my baby." And my special moment that I just remember before she passed, it was a very difficult time. She experienced chemotherapy, and I would just go in and jump in bed with her, and we would talk. And I just felt so bad at times because it was a period in my life that I could do more. I was just become making money as a psychologist, and you think that that's what you make money for, to give back to your people. That's how we're raised, which you're going to talk about. That's one of the ways that we were raised, to help our people, yeah, especially your mother and your father. But it wasn't a situation where I knew that help that I would give to her would be short lived. And so, yes, I just remember those moments. I was thinking about it as Mother's Day was approaching. And I was thinking about my good time. So, yes, Yesini, happy Mother's Day to you and to everyone out there.
Thank you, Doc. And I think I can add up to that. Happy Mother's Day to you, Doc, my sister, my friend, my confidant, my counselor. When the kids get on my nerve,
Yes,
my whole
absolutely.
African self,
Yes.
and that's what we're going to talk about today. I also have been blessed to have had two mothers. My mother died way back then, and my other mother took me, and the woman I've become, that I am, is shaped by her, and she always on my side. She's a beautiful grandmother. I wish my other mom, my biological mom, were alive, and I can share them both. I think my chest is big enough to be able to love them, hug them, and just cherish them. And then I happen to be a mother to four beautiful, now five, um, a boy and all girls. I'm a mother of mostly girls, but I have one son. My son knows that he will call, Mommy, this is your only son calling. Really? A reminder.
Like, well, so that's a title I would like.
Yeah, only son, yes. So
Yes.
like here, my mom used to call me Yuku Yuku. Apparently, when I was born, I was this big old baby. I don't know what happened along the path. And then I'm struggling to pull a pound, so I'll keep it up, but I'm
Mhm.
grateful.
She's rubbing it in
But
because we
I'm there though.
talk
I'm
about
really
this. I talk about this.
I'm really there.
Mhm.
So let me say happy Mother's Day to our village, the Liberian community in the diaspora,
Yeah.
everywhere. The
Yes.
mothers back home
Mm-hmm.
who they in, especially our mothers who are in the hinterland, who
Mm-hmm.
get up in the morning sometimes without breakfast, going to the
Yes.
farm, having the babies on their back,
Yes.
scratching with baby on their back, cutting bushes, trying to find something for the children to eat, and stay hoping for a better future for them. Happy
Absolutely.
Mother's Day. We respect admired, and we say kudos to you.
Absolutely, we do.
Yes.
We
That
do. Yes, we're going to be talking to you about raising children in this culture where we find ourselves in. Some of us came here by our own free will, volition, and some of us it was because of the war. But one thing that we have in common is Liberia, and one thing that I know is there's been the civil war or the effects of a civil war have prevented many of us from truly going and enjoying the resources in our country or the pleasure of our country. So today we're going to be talking about that, and I'll let you, Cindy, lead that conversation as we talk about that. And I think you're going to go ahead. How you're going to start
right,
it?
right, right. That so we're gonna be talking about raising children cross culture. Okay, that means more than one culture. That just mean that what America does best is in the business schools, because especially at the graduate level, they strongly believe that you will encounter multiple culture. So they teach the people to learn about other, like I always tell people when the American leave from here and go to Liberia or they go to Ghana, they already know what you got on the table. Okay. So, but we're going to talk about our own experiences, just having our children here. Doc and I come from two different spectrum because she came here as a child. I
Mhm.
came as a young adult. I was already shaped when I came here, set in my ways, you know. But I wanted to give you what everybody what separate us in based on culture. But we have a little video here. Wanted to play the definition so some kids can talk to us from different background, different walks of life. Okay, so give us a moment here. Let's look at this for a second.
Mhm.
Hey, Mama, come.
This is my first time hearing it. Is it CULTURE? Culture. That makes people different. When I know about culture, I know there's different types of people that believe in different types of things. Like a city culture, where you live. So, like, pretend your mom is from Mexico and your dad is from Africa. They have their own cultures. What they eat is different than what I eat. You speak differently. You have different color skin. 1,020 cultures in the world. 1,020. 1,006,000. No, I just 1 million probably.
Even though we're different, we can still become friends.
We have to have differences so nobody gets mixed up.
If you're all the same, it's so boring. To fit in, you want to be different.
It's good to be different because we're all still special.
And if all of us are the
Uh-oh.
same, then there won't be anything that's really fun to do. I think it's fun, in my personal opinion, because just knowing that you belong.
In culture of MHS, people are different. People live. We're like a family.
Everyone here has a special purpose, and that we can all join together to learn new stuff about each other.
Beautiful, right? That
Yes, absolutely.
yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
Yeah, like you were saying, one of the beauty of recent American history is the ability to understand and teach other cultures to people. My husband, he and I, Yusini, that's your brother. He served
Mhm.
in the military for a very long time, for many women I know. And we're talking about something, and he was saying, do you know that before many of the Americans expert get into these countries, they already know the language, the culture? He said, because we're talking about actually, I remember now, we're talking about his beard, and he was saying how he had to grow his beard. He said this could have been a saving, something that saved him, just his beard, because in the Middle East, a lot of the men grow a lot of beard. And you are not, and he says sometimes when Americans go there, they grow, they adopt the culture and they speak the language. And so it was hard to determine whether you're American or you're not American or you're a Middle Eastern. So that was the beauty of them, while he was there during, war situation, but that's how they could kind of blend in the crowd. So I like that tape. And here, likewise, I actually teach an entire course, an entire semester, the psychology of human diversity.
Yes.
That's the course that I teach. And part of that is teaching psychologists that you're going to have many, many different cultures, people of different backgrounds, especially in this time, this multicultural society, if I would say, in this culturally diverse society. You have just people walking in the office, and you have to be able to finesse. That's my youngest daughter. You have to be able to be flexible to be able to.
Oh,
work.
yeah, Pierre.
Yeah.
Yes, that's her.
It's a finance. You have to be able to.
Yes.
You have to be able to, because when one of the kids said, I was writing down. He said, what is culture? I think they were trying to figure what is culture.
Yes.
And he said, I'm not going to quote him directly, but it's just diverse group of people that practice or behave in a culturally, I don't want to use the word different, into a culturally diverse way, because sometimes when we use the word different, people think different is bad.
Yeah.
So I like to use diverse. I don't want to say culturally different people, culturally diverse people. We're diverse. Yes. I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, and the young boy also said, if all of us looked the same, it would be a boring place, right? I love that.
Absolutely.
But let's bring this home. How our children, how we as mothers in the diaspora come in. Okay, so culture, we say, well, culture shape what people values, how they view the word, and understanding of rights and wrong. These believe God behavior and decision making, like tradition, culture expressed through custom, languages, food, clothing. The children talk about all of that. Your identity, who you are, who you become, your community. For instance, when I was a baby, I didn't know I was Christian, but I was born in a family where took me to church and say I was Christian. So that's the belief that shaped me. That's what I became. So I might say later, okay, that's not what I want to be. But let's go to our children that are born here. I had an epiphany years back where one of my nieces at church, I was having some trouble with my kids, and that's my grandbaby. I don't know what she's screaming about. And she said to me, she said, Auntie, you and mommy, they need to stop it. Do you know how difficult it is to be an African child in an American society? I wanted to come back at her, the African in me, or the Africa in me. And my husband stepped on my toes and said, listen. So I said, well, Taniqua, tell me more. She said, Auntie, yeah, it's very difficult. Even if you are the best. Okay? Number one, we all look different. All right. So when you want us to come to a house and behave as we were in Liberia. But then when we walk the street, people want us to be American. When we go to school, people want us to fit in, to be children and fit in. And I never saw it from that perspective. And she said, we are under duress. We are under a lot of stress to fit in with our peers, to fit in with what society design, and then to fit in our household as African children. And I didn't understand the complexity of that. Okay. And then along this path, I had some struggle. Y'all know raising children in America is not a joke, because there's so much you can do as a parent, especially in respect to discipline. You have to learn to listen. You have to learn to talk. In Africa, we were told because I told you so. And the whole community agrees with you. In America, it's not the way.
It's true.
I remember going to Doc and we were having a conversation. And she said, places, listen more. If they're going places, let them tell you. Let them be free to talk to you. Then they'll be able to tell you everything. Because growing up, most of us, our parents didn't talk to us like that freely, especially when it comes to the birds and the bees, right? Because
Correct.
it was like a taboo, it's something that was secret.
Yeah.
Okay. It was very few parents.
Yeah.
So navigating our culture, navigating American culture, navigating their peers, being able to perform to our standard, because we put all this weight on these children. Okay. That's what we wanted to talk about. If your parents out there in the United States, please write here or call in. Let us know your experience. That let's go. You raised 4 beautiful girls. Okay. Almost 3 out of college, 1 in college, just going on.
Yes.
How did you do it?
Yes. I like to sort of just give a shout out to my third daughter who will be graduating next week. Okay. And so that would be 3 out of 4. The fourth one is got 3 more years to go. And then I told you, Cindy, we're packing our bags and we're out of here. Just joking.
I still got time. Yeah.
Yes. No. And plus, I want to just also give a shout out to all of the mothers and those who are graduating as well this week. This is an important time of graduation, and this is why we're actually having this conversation, because we have to give our children credit, Cindy.
Mm-hmm.
When I think back about the story that you just told about this young child who were just laying out the challenges, the identities, and keep in mind identities, that because it is known that immigrants and children of immigrants have multiple identities.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cindy said, they're raised by immigrant parents. So in our household, we are eating our Kisawali. We are talking our Liberian English. We are parenting them as immigrant children. Like the things that we learned were from our parents. Cindy said their inability to be expressive or free with us, right? That was one thing. And then on top of that, the way our parents raised us, it's just different, Mama. The way our parents raised us, we all looked the same, so we didn't have to worry about the challenges that these kids have to go through. Then she's telling us they want to leave our door, our culture. They go into a different culture, which is the American culture. And the American culture, as we know, have different layers. They have culture for people that look with our children's skin color, and they got future people that look Caucasian. And then, of course, whatever building they go into, wherever they go into, that place got its own culture too. Whether it's a school, it could be a school that is open to be more acceptable to, all children, and then a school that will have limitations or practice bias against different people. So our children have multiple stress, that they experience. And Eugenia said a great thing. So there's a time that we as immigrant parents would get very frustrated. I got frustrated at times, and so you have to then come back and just sit back and listen, be the kind of parent that just listen to their day, how, it wasn't how was your day anymore. It's like, what happened in school today? You kind of have to make them communicate with you, okay? Or, how was the bus ride to school? Because, if your children taking the bus, like, don't ask them yes or no question, or questions where they can just sort of shove you off. So you have to be very strategic and intentional about this parenting thing. And it's hard. I will not tell nobody that it's easy. It's easy to do. It's hard on them as much as it's hard on us. So some of us would parent by guilt, and I know we'll give these kids things that we didn't have because we came here. We didn't like, bro, we didn't have abundance of toys. When they give you money, they don't even give you money. They give you their parent. Your parent go, I parent for money. They say, well, that baker already ate yesterday. Where did the money came from? Okay. So then there's other parents who just they parent by not giving their children anything because they say, if I work hard for it, you should be able to do the same thing. You should work hard for what you. So there's a middle ground that we as parents have to play, because giving it everything may not be too healthy in the long run, or may not be the best parenting practice. Then also depriving them because you didn't have something and wanting them to learn may also not be the best way to go either, because that could come back to you in the long run as well and could cause or change in the family dynamics. Okay, so you see, now I'll turn it back to you. That's just a brief thought that I have on just parenting these children with dual identity or multicultural identity, as I like to call them. I can't hear you, Mama. You muted.
Thank you so much, Doc. Sis Yata, Sis Caroline, and all our brothers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Happy Mother's Day to you, ladies. Yeah.
You know that we're mothers on this show, so
yeah. And today's Mother's Day, we have all the gains home, so we have some distraction. We didn't want to disappoint you, so we can just have this conversation with you. And Doc, one of my favorite quotes, and the more you hear me out of America, is the greatness of America lies not in her enlightenment, but her ability to repair herself. Whenever they fall short, they found a way. That's why research is important. That's why data and statistics are important. That's why collecting data, which is a reference point used to make adjustment. The essence of data collection is either to improve, however way, if it's by decreasing or upping, that's that. So our school system, years back, we didn't have what you call social emotional learning. Now we have diversity at school, where you learn through social emotional learning. How do you manage your anger? How do you get the best out of your own attitude? How do you work with people in diverse groups? So we have this thing we call small group, right? So you have where young people are able to collaborate, to be able to work together. It does not matter what you look like. It does not matter if you will catch a later. It does not matter if you're faster. If you're faster, you have to work with the group so the group can get to where you are. If you are slower, you also have to ask for the help that you need. It's also the responsibility of the adult in the room, which would be the teacher, to bring that child or analyze that child into that particular environment or culture to see how you can bring that child based on their ability, okay, to come to that place. Also, it also helps focus our children. That's why we have counselors in our school, that these children will go to the counselor and talk to them about the way they feel. If they're different, it's somebody that, for instance, and that would be because she grew up in a totally white neighborhood, where those days, me coming to America, I had somebody told me one time, we live in trees. Where do we sleep? We have people calling you African bully, this, that. We don't do that anymore, okay? Because we have gotten educated, because we have gotten awareness. We have gotten, where you understand, some cultural education, okay? So with my own children, because as an African parent in the diaspora, you put too much stress on them. I have some of the most brilliant kids in the world. I don't know where they got it from. I do. Some of them became very rebellious.
Yes.
Because I just choked them. And I'm just saying this because I stay on them. Okay. And sometimes we do this. How about that other child is doing this? How you can do this? Now that they don't have the ability. Sometimes we stress them to the point then they become rebellious. That we talk about this, even with my younger one. And what I started doing is let her express herself and I tell her, I'm your mother. So when I talk, you don't talk. The only thing I said, speak with me with respect. Or let me learn, then you give your input. So in this light, we're telling you our children, yeah, they're slightly different. But then they belong to a community that have his own belief system, or 3 communities that have its own belief system, separate belief system. The
Mm-hmm.
African belief system,
Mm-hmm.
where says children don't have a voice,
No,
where
children
that
should be
spirit will
seen,
go.
not heard.
Yeah. The
Mhm.
American society say the children should learn to think and do critical thinking because the children are the innovators, because their mind is free to go out and wonder. Then among their peers, there's a culture that says you must fit in or you don't belong. That you decide. Throw light on that for us.
Yeah, you're so right, and you talked about the different cultures that our children are experiencing. It can be hard on them, definitely
Mhm.
hard, and hard on us as parents. Um, so we get frustrated. We were raised, like you said, Cindy, not to talk back to our parents. It's just like you should be seen and not heard. Okay, but then over here they tell you squeaky one drum gets the most attention, the squeaky noise gets the most
Mhm.
attention. So the person who, if you quiet, and you don't say anything, you just getting through, you don't get attention in this society. That's not how this society works. You will just get through. I had a nun who would tell many of the students, when you go to school, don't let don't just pass through the school. Let the school pass through you.
Mhm.
Okay, because people can go to school, they just pass through the school, and this is what is
Mhm.
happening. We find that in our culture a lot of times, people are going to school, a lot of memorization is occurring, so they're just passing through the school. They're not letting the school pass through them, which is, in this country, you have to engage in the critical thinking. You have to
Critical
be able
thinking.
to ask questions. You have to be
Mhm.
able to verbalize yourself, and
Mhm.
taught your daughter a good thing. Do it with respect, okay?
Mhm.
Because maybe with your peer group, that's how you guys talk, and you have to realize too, that's how your kids will talk. They
Mhm.
might with their peer group, and sometimes they talk like that to be accepted. So parents, we might hear them on the phone or when they text or when you get called to the school office and you see, oh, now my child will never say something like that. My child don't behave that way. But you know the shock of your life when those children are now with you, they have to find a way to fit in. So when they come into your doors, they have a different culture. And especially for us immigrant parents, my goodness, we have to work. We didn't come here with silver spoon in our mouths, okay? We have to work. We don't have inheritance. So sometimes we have to like parent by telephone or parent by Zoom, because hey, when they come home, they will be to the house by themselves a little bit. Even though it's illegal to do that now in this country. I think certain states have different laws. Some states you can't leave them until after 13. Some say
13. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
okay, some states, so you can't leave them alone. So you have to improvise, but you're not there. You're the parent. Even if you bring in your sister, your auntie, or that grandma who you brought from, Liberia to be with them, she's not the parent. So she will just be in the house, and the children will be doing whatever. So you have to be able to parent you by telephone. You have to call in,
Mhm.
check how you guys are doing.
Mhm.
Everybody do your homework. Put your homework on the table. If I come home 11 o'clock tonight after my shift, and I used to work those shifts, I want to see everybody homework on the table. Okay, when I come home, let's or in the morning, in fact, there was a time you see where my daughter used to say, I want to dress myself.
Oh
you know,
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yes.
so
Oh yes.
in the morning when you get up, they want put clothes on and say to go. And actually, want the feisty one, the one who always challenged me, the one who gave me a run for my money as a parent.
There's
That
always one. Yeah.
yes, there's always one. And that one being told, she used to say her grandmother name is I'm Bledding. That was she told Bledding, her grandmother's name. She would be in the back of the car, I'm Bledding Pierre, and
Yeah.
so I'll be like, okay. So one day she told me, say she wanted to dress herself. Every day, every morning, she won't put clothes on, not appropriate for the weather. I'm fussing with her and stuff. So I said, okay, mama, you want to wear what you want to wear? Let's go. In our African culture, your child will not do that. You will force that child to wear, or you will get vest, or you will call that
They
child.
even got the voice.
Exactly. So I said, of course, after I said, okay, my mother, when she went outside in her, I don't know, take my back in wintertime outside, when the cold hit her, she ran straight back in the house and were able to correct that situation. So our children have to learn experientially at times. We have to let them fall flat, and then they will pick things up and learn. We want to protect them. That's how our parents protected us. So we think we can do that in this culture where they're giving these children all this latitude. And that's where I like to stop, and Cindy, you want to add?
Yes, thank you. And I wanted to look at a few positive too. Okay. The cultural awareness, especially if you belong to a group that your children, I know that when the children were younger, you were really involved into and you still involved in the community, but on a different spectrum at this point. Okay. It says that's a deep cultural what do you call it, respect for diversity. They at a very young age. I'm coming. Okay, I'm coming. At a very young age, our children learn about diversity because when they come from home, they go in a different world. When they're in the street, they're in different world. So they're more accepting of other people. That's the positive. Okay. So they understand that worldview is more inclusive than other people worldview. Okay. They're able to adapt. That's why you take our children. Wherever you take our children, they're able to adapt. See, I know that carry her girls to Liberia. Okay. They will have fun.
They won't give me my run for my money. She will not need visa to go to Liberia because she'll fit right in.
Yes. And then because they're seeing us struggle and triumph, they have this spirit of resiliency or resilience that they're able to battle, and balance two skills at the same time. So they have that ability to be able to live in separate words and still find a balance to that word. So that's the positive, okay? Another thing is they have empathy because they've been through, they themselves. I mean, sometimes when they're younger, they become that. I think I speak about this here in my on the platform that in the school system because I work in K1 through 12. So those are the shaping movement, especially in middle school, where the kids want to belong, where sometimes they feel, because they don't want to be teased, right? So I talk about it. I say the children, the Ghanaians, the Nigerians, especially with the immersion of Nigerian music, Afrobeat, and showcasing the star like Davido, Flavor, what do you call it? What P Square, and all of those people, Semi, and all of that. They have put them on global stage. So even before them, all right, because the Nigerian kids were quicker. If at the moment they walk in the class, maybe the first time they will come, Miss Martin, are you a Nigerian? And I'll go, yes, I am a Nigerian, but I'm from Liberia. So that's the same region. Oh, I didn't know that, but I think we're going to have fun. I'm like, yes. And the next thing will go home and call their parents, and the parent will call me and say, that's your child. Make sure you watch out for them. And just let me know what they do. I'm like, I can't do that, because I have confidentiality. Ghanaian children. On the other hand, we also have to bring our children home, the Liberian children. This is my experience. I live in a community with over 30,000 Liberians. We have now third generation Liberian, especially those who settled during the refugee time. The children are graduating from college, most of them now, and those that graduated from high school, they're the children that were born here when we came on resettlement or came and didn't go back in the early 90s. Okay. They're college, they're in the workforce, they're having their own children. Some of their children, I have grandchildren a grandchild that's going to middle school. Okay. So our community needs to be tighter, and we have to teach our children culture and culture to be proud. Okay. Where's that? What happened? So another thing I think I talked about, they nurture compassion and sense of responsibility towards others because they see us, that come back. They see us as their parents, how we show compassion, how we take care of our family, not just in our community, but whom. So they learn from that because we exhibit that. I'm waiting for that to come back so we can. So, huh?
And you were going to be upstairs the whole time. What's the point of me coming?
Where are you? All right. So, folks, that I don't know, for some reason the power slipped off. We're going to stay a little bit, but we have 5 minutes. Anyway, we have the show. So I'm going to wait for her for a second. Then we're going to call her a day. So I want to say to all of you, Sis Rebecca, happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of you. Okay. All of you women out there, whether you carry the child in your stomach, whether you carry the child in your heart, I want to say happy Mother's Day to you. God bless you. Okay. God bless you. For some reason, that phone dropped. So I'm not sure what's happening to her. Okay. What did people sending? Okay. So there are positive and negative to that. We talk about this, our children fitting in. We talk about the children, okay, navigating more than 2 words at in their lifetime. But then we also talk about how it creates the strength and flexibility for them. What happened, Doc?
I don't even know, you know.
Okay.
But
So
yes,
I know we want to go to the kids. I'm going to let you talk, and then we'll close.
yes,
And let's go rest and spend time with our family. We
absolutely.
do this year in, year out. We'll be
Yes.
here on Sunday.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, you know, I just want to say a big shout out to all of the mothers out there. You know, your hard work will not go in vain. You'll be blessed. Okay. I was going to just talk about some of the things that you, Cindy, and I often we have learned from our children, especially I raised 4 girls in this country, and part of the diversity in which they have learned, as you, Cindy, talked about. My daughter used to tell me the trauma is different. We have this
Yes.
this,
Yeah, we
we have
discussed
this
that.
little conversation in the house where she says the trauma is different, which means that she's kind of study. I mean, this is when a dating era and they're still dating, they're young women. And she's kind of like say, you know, when I see the trauma of different cultures, it's just different. That's what she says to me. But all I can say is I want us parents, because I can come from a parent's perspective, it's just we just need to be who we are. Be true to yourself. You are African. Don't stop eating your rice and your cassava leaf. Introduce your children to them, or your GB or whatever. Let them be able to experience and taste that culture. Don't come here and because I know that we do go through a honeymoon period where we don't want to be identified with who we are. That's normal. Okay, some of us would come here, we change our way of talking. We don't want to be associated. We don't want to wear our cultural clothes, you know, and stuff like that. And we want to raise our children not to respect or not to know their culture, you know. But I'm just saying you just have to be true to who you are, because your children, they are learning more about what they see you do than what you say to them. All right. So if you don't practice who you are sending a message to them that you don't respect, or you have no regards, or you don't care, or you don't like yourself. All right. So from day one, I've been wearing African clothes, and you, if you know me, you know I grew up in a very multicultural way. From day 2, I've always spoke to my children about Liberia. You know, during the crisis, we'll watch TV. They'll watch me cry during the Civil War. They also is for my both my parents had the experience of living with us, and so my 4 daughters had the pleasure of seeing their grandparents, and so they would come and have the different conversations with their grandfather, one by one, and they got an opportunity to ask him, Grandpa, where did you grow up? Tell us about Liberia. How's Liberia? So I'm just saying, take some time to talk to your children. Be true to yourself. Be true to them. Tell them exactly, you know, where you grew up. If you have the opportunity, take them back. All right. Let them see you, and don't live a life that you don't expect them to live, you know, because you're sending a message to them. That's all I wanted to say. to parents listening to us today. So we can have and go on and on about this conversation, but I want to thank you for joining us today, and I'm wishing you guys a happy Mother's Day. I can hear you, Sydney.
And wow, powerful how we teach our children indirectly. And you know what? It says that when I did a little research, when we don't identify who we are and we don't let the children see us, our true self, it brings what it's a identity confusion.
Okay? Yes, it does.
Yes. And it also said it disconnects them from their culture. And that's why, you know what I spoke to when I talked about the Nigerian children and the Ghanaian children, the difference between they and the Liberian children, or most of the Liberian children. The reason being is, even in Liberia, we have cultural identity confusion.
Correct.
Yeah, everybody, I'm this tribe. The first thing when a Liberian person sees you is, oh, where you from? The first thing is, now I'm a Liberian. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the first thing you want to know, what sector of place. The kids will tell you I'm a Ghanaian. They don't tell you I'm Ashanti, I'm Fanti, they tell you I'm a Ghanaian. Okay. Even in Nigeria, they tell you I'm a Nigerian. You got to get to know them to know they're Igbo, they're Yoruba, they're Awusa, or all of that. You first got to get to know them, but first and foremost, they're Nigerian. Okay. Yeah. And they'll go, do you eat fufu? Okay. Fufu is in our world. So, and also the pressure to assimilate. We don't want our children to assimilate. We want our children to integrate. We want them to, because when we do what is right and they're firm into their culture, our culture, then they only integrate because they bring that balancing effect. Because when you integrate, you're taking what is good about our culture. Like for instance, we're people of the community, people of the village. Okay. Now this is an individualistic society. It never used to be that way. So, thank you, Doc. Thank you. It's good. I've learned a lot from you. Hopefully you learned something from me. What I learned from you is a balancing parenthood in an African, raising African children in an American society, or American children in an African culture, or vice versa, because that's how our children are. So
I learned a lot from you too, Cindy. I learned how you love your culture, Liberia, and you respect that. And you let it be known, it's okay to just be who you are. And, I also want to tell you and many parents that, you're going to get your flowers, they come, we go through all these struggles, if you were to ask me today, I was tearful because all of them, all of them will come, Did you imagine when we were going through those fights and stuff like that? I'm like, you people will probably put me in a nursing home. They will never see me again, But that didn't happen. They come, and so you would get. It's okay to go through these, tumultuous time. We all did, and I'm still going through. I'm not going to say because you still got to come and say, You still got to.
Don't mind them. Check your monitor there and say, "Oh, I will stay on the couch. I will not say anything until they get home." But
yes. So, but you still got to go. That's tumultuous time. Yes. But at the end of the day, their conscience kick in, and we let them go. They go into the world and see the life that they have lived, to appreciate other cultures and other people. And then it clicks in, and they say, I come from a home. I come from a culture. I come from a people. But hey, biologically, they're not supposed to understand this until 24, 25. I just want to let
25. Me, I was say 26, 27.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, the correct biology said 26, 27. Past that, because the brain biologically, and then we're speaking biology, not from social skills. The brain doesn't get it all. I have my oldest child is 26, and all of a sudden things are fitting in closely because that's what we can call open move. Your brain is disconnected a little bit. There's a space, so it starts to connect. The neurons and everything starts to connect. I don't want to teach biology, but anyway, yes.
We are going to the children. We're going to go hang out. Love you, Jack. See you later. I'll say hello to my brother.
Yes.
I see you on Facebook, so I got to ask.
Yes.
Love you.
Bye. See you for Alisa's graduation. See you soon. Can't wait.
Yeah, we can't wait to see you too. 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. Yes.
Bye.
We're going cleaner and going to. Good night, everybody. Happy Mother's Day to all of you.
Oh, you're cleaning up for me. Yeah.
Oh, no. No, I'm not kidding. I'm making GB. Don't forget my fish because
No,
I'm
I
gonna
can't carry anything.
yeah, the GB will be ready, but we just need to drop the fish in.
Yes.
Bye. You see, we'll call you on Facebook. Bye.